All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another extra SROS video. Today, we're going to watch some Caleb Wilson kind of tape together. I thought this would be a fun idea to kind of sit down and watch some highlight tapes, watch some film about Caleb Wilson. I'll leave a link to the YouTube video and the channel that kind of broke down these three games we're going to watch, because I watched these on my flight to Tampa over the weekend and back, and I kind of came away with like Caleb Wilson might be the most interesting prospect in this draft because of just like the sheer athleticism, the ability to get to the rim at times, and it just intrigues me so much. But there are a lot of, I think, flaws right now that I'm really intrigued to see how it looks once ACC play starts, if North Carolina makes the tournament, and how it looks over the course of the season, because he plays a million miles an hour. For sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And usually when I'm scouting these prospects too, I don't have time to watch every single game that they play this year. So like they played Central Arkansas. I like barely got to see him play in that game. But really when I'm looking at these prospects to really, I think, make the best use of your time, I like to watch them against the best competition, because that's the closest you may get to an NBA level. So we're going to watch Michigan State. We're going to watch Kansas, and we're going to watch Kentucky today. Michigan State was one of the more recent ones I think it was played in Palm Beach. It was during Feast Week. I know they recently just beat Georgetown on Sunday. Was able to catch a little bit of that. Wilson's game was good. A lot of twos in that game. Not really that many threes. I think he went 0 for 1 from 3. So yeah, shout out to the, I'll leave a link to these three down below. Kind of consolidates everything into like their shots, their fouls drawn, and everything like that. And you could definitely see like the sheer athleticism on display from Caleb Wilson at times. And like Michigan State is no joke of a team, right? You're going up against Jackson Kohler, you're going up against Jeremy Fears, and you could see like Exhibit A, the sheer athleticism from Caleb Wilson. Not many players in this class can just take off right a little bit from the elbow, and you're literally posterizing a starting center on one of the best teams in the country. It's unreal. His first step, his athleticism. But then you kind of watch plays like that where he does draw a foul, which is good, but it's just like, is this a great shot? Now, like I said, he draws contact there. The perimeter defender kind of reaches in, and he's able to use that to his advantage and realizes that. But we're going to kind of watch a lot of bad shots where I think he's forcing a lot. I don't think Carolina guard play has been great this year. They've had their fair share of injuries. They haven't really been like an efficient team this year. Like, beautiful cut there from Caleb Wilson. Like, that's something I want to give him credit for. Realizing that there's going to be a hole in the defense. The center has his back turned to Caleb Wilson because he's so focused on Henry Vasar down low. And he's so quick. I mean, the guy makes a great pass there. And he's able to take off. And basically, he's a freight train. He's like a skinny freight train coming down. The spot up three. I don't love Caleb Wilson as a three-point shooter right now. I think it's a big work in progress with his shot. I mean, he's able to take the gather there. Kind of a wild shot, but draws contact, which, hey, he's lanky. He loves contact. And that's, I think, also a selling part about Caleb Wilson is his ability to just say, F it. Like, I'm going to throw my body at the rim, throw my body at guys. And, hey, for good or for bad, that time you didn't get the foul call. Kind of doesn't look like a great shot. And that's something that kind of comes up at times. Another spot up three here, no good. And he's in the post here. I think this is the one that I was like, okay, it's an interesting first step. Like, it doesn't look the worst. It kind of looks fluid, but I'm not really trusting him on any shot outside of like 5 feet right now. I think it's going to be a big work in progress all year. He's able to use the continuation, get an and one. And I'm like, when you're able to finish against Michigan State, it's impressive. This one, just kind of getting overmatched down below, shooting into a bunch of guys. This one as well, just throws his body out there. I mean, it goes in. It wasn't pretty. And now I'm trying to like differentiate, is that kind of skill? Is he just able to throw stuff up there? That one as well, just kind of throwing his body. Like I said, for good and for bad. Sometimes the bad isn't too enjoyable, but he can have just an elite spin move out of the post. Like, this is something that is very tough to guard, and his standing reach and his wingspan is going to be such an advantage to him if he's able to kind of come to the sense that that should be his bread and butter. Especially like the guy he's guarded by here is basically his height. Not much of a height difference there, but his reach, his wingspan, like combined with his athleticism and his will to just want to throw his body at any type of contact, can make him an intriguing offensive player. But we're still so early into his freshman year, and we're going to see so much over the course of the year. Like, not a pretty looking three there. I do think that he's going to benefit a ton playing in like a run and gun style where it is less get to your spots, less drawing up plays for you. At times that will work, and like say he goes to a team like Chicago, say he goes to a team like Charlotte if they're healthy, right? Like having a good playmaking point guard, I think, will do wonders for Caleb Wilson's development, because I think he's very smart as a cutter and a slasher, and UNC's kind of been inconsistent at times with their shooting and efficiency this year, so it's sometimes the paint is clogged up a lot. But if he goes to a team where you have, theoretically, say it's the Charlotte Hornets and LaMelo's healthy, solid three-point shooter, Con Knipple, good three-point shooter, you hope Brandon Miller's shot comes around, and then another shooter out there, or maybe it's just a big, and you're able to have Caleb Wilson out there as somebody that can have the paint kind of opened up for him, but also will play this run and gun style. And like this pass here, not the perfect pass, because Henry Vesar is able to kind of catch it low. Like if they're able to react a little bit quicker, I think that can be contested, but it's a great read, and I think that's also what Caleb Wilson could do. He's not super tunnel vision-ish, like he's able to make that read out of the progression, and I'm not sure if like UNC, that was a design play for Henry Vesar, so that's something that we would end up seeing at the NBA level. That's a great find as well. Like the passing is, I think, pretty well off for somebody at his size with what he was as an offensive talent, as like the guy in high school and basically the guy at Carolina this year. Like he's taken the most amount of shots every single night. The defense plays super physical, super hard, can kind of get a little handsy at times, can kind of be overzealous, and wants to just like any chance he can get at a block, any chance he can get at like anticipating a pass. They're bad block out, but I think that got called for goaltending or a foul, which can come back to bite him. Kind of goes back to what I said about him being a little bit overzealous at times, which will come over the course of the year. Like if he's going to adapt to it, like good wingspan as a post defender. I think, I wonder what the measurements are going to be, because it reminds me a little bit of Rasheer Fleming last year out of St. Joe's, who was older than Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson might grow by the end of the year, like still being a teenager. That I wonder if you could play some small ball 5 with him at the NBA level, which gives you positional versatility. That's why I think like him, swing skill, 3-point shooting, like he's going to take plenty of threes this year. I think there's been more bad 3-point shooting games than good. So we'll see where that shot officially comes around, because what he could do as a post defender, switchability defensively, and like I just love him in transition. Like he can attack closeouts with the wingspan as well. You kind of saw it on display a little bit there, or not attacking closeout, but having a nice closeout himself. I think it's going to be like polarizing as a prospect too, because there's so many different ways this can go. Like I would like to see him go to a good developmental system. Like I don't know what's a great fit for him. I think like Charlotte intrigues me under Charles Lee, because maybe this is everything they wanted out of Tijan Salon in a way, just with like the rangy tools. Somebody that I think has high potential in this league, but maybe a lower floor than you would have liked, but I think would have a better feel as a defender for the NBA level than definitely like Tijan Salon has. I don't think Miles Bridges will be on this team, at least after the current contract. So like you keep Caleb Wilson kind of in-state in North Carolina. Like that's really good defense on the perimeter. And if you have that from like your 5 at times, like teams are running pick and roll constantly at the NBA level, so you're cool switching with Caleb Wilson there. So I think the Michigan State tape is something like, they're not like the best in the front court. Like you have like Cam Ward, you have some good like overall players on this team going forward. Like Jeremy Fears is maybe their best player as a guard. But I think he like held his own defensively in this game. I think there was times like he definitely forced a lot offensively, and Michigan State preaches defense a lot this year. It's been kind of like that perfect Tom Izzo team. Like he's going to jump at everything, it feels like, in the paint as well. Like good closeout, but I think if that offensive player was a little bit more talented with the ball in his hands, he would want to drive a little bit more. But yeah, I think there was a lot of like UNC kind of got out of this game a little bit. Like it wasn't too close, you could see in like the second half here, and it was definitely better against Kentucky. Now Kentucky, I mean, they have their own issues right now in college basketball. Like they're a team that just cannot shoot whatsoever. Like Caleb Wilson there, just it doesn't go in, and this is like some of the shot selection I don't love. Like he draws a little bit of separation. I don't know if that's a shot that I would want you to go straight up on, but like clears a decent amount. I don't know if you would pass out in this situation. And then he kind of just throws his body into the defender, where I don't know if he's looking to draw contact like he usually is, but it's just not great shot selection there in this game. He was really bad offensively in the first half against Kentucky. He made some big time shots, but this is where I think I kind of wanted to like make this video for you guys as well, just because there's going to be a lot of good and a lot of bad with Caleb Wilson. And he's able to like he's good at making reads as well. So like here, he's step back three. Don't really have a lot of confidence in these shots whatsoever with him. Like I said, outside of like the paint area. I mean, this one was end of the shot clock, so I'm not really gonna look at that one too much here. Like where he's able to operate at the post a little bit, first step, trying to back a guy down. I think he's good at making reads there, tries to draw contact. He actually hits that. I think that goes back to even the Michigan State game where there was one where he initiates contact or doesn't get the foul call, but it just wasn't pretty and they're somehow going in. But he's also a monster. I haven't really gotten to the rebounding too much. Like, his wingspan and his motor makes him such a fascinating rebounder, especially on the offensive glass as well, where, you know, like when you're playing 2K and you're just kind of like forcing a layup or an inside shot and you know it's maybe like, it's probably not going to go in, so you're already like spamming Y or triangle to go get the rebound. That's how it feels watching like Caleb Wilson on the offensive end of the floor, where he's throwing up any shot he can, and then no matter what, he is crashing the offensive glass, where I think scouts and GMs are going to really love the motor in that as well, because that's going to translate, I think, to the defensive intensity, where he's asked to be more, I think, of a defensive weapon at the NBA level. Obviously, UNC like values his defense, but they're also valuing what he can do as an offensive engine and creator for this team. Is probably the most skilled offensive weapon they have. So they're prioritizing kind of the offense, when I think an NBA team can really unlock the defense. Like that play right there, he doesn't get the foul. He kind of just throws up any type of shot here. Still 13 seconds on the shot clock, kind of a double team. I think he realizes it's not a great shot at all, and he's immediately crashing the glass, and he's able to use that wingspan and that talented, like the hands around the rim to kind of connect on these offensive rebounds. This one kind of just throwing it up out there, but he's going to make the opposing defense's life. They're going to make them work. He's going to make them work for defensive rebounds, which, hey, I appreciate that as well. Like I said, this game really wasn't the best for him inside the front or inside the paint, at least in the first like half, I feel like 3/4 of this game as well, but he was able to hit some big time shots for UNC down the stretch. Again, still a good Kentucky team. Maybe not what we thought, just like another post fadeaway. Don't love that shot from him right now with his game. And sometimes I don't think I really love the shot selection and the shot diet either. Like he's a good cutter, good slasher, draws the foul there. That's what I like about him. Like you can kind of see him on the baseline a little bit up here, realizing that there's going to be the help from the big man, and he's able to kind of like, I mean, the point guard makes the right read, and I think that's Dixon, and he's able to get that to go. Maybe that's not Dixon, which I know a lot of people are loving in like the college basketball landscape as like a freshman riser. I think so. But yeah, Wilson, polarizing prospect, spin move doesn't go anywhere, and he's kind of like contorting his body like midair here. Like spin move doesn't work. Defender does a good job kind of shoving him, showing like you're not getting in the paint. He doesn't really finish the spin move, and then he kind of just like, he goes in the air, not even looking at the basket. And he hits the shot at least. But, like, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't really know what you're going to get with him. And it's like me coming back to, he plays like a million miles an hour. I think he's got like one of the most dunks in the country. But he also has some of the most missed dunks in the country as well, which makes him just such a boomer bust guy inside the paint. Nice block there by the Kentucky defender. He has no fear going up at all. Nice rebound there, pushes the floor, and this is basically the game. It was a good stop defensively. He actually, I guess, got fouled on that shot as well. Misses the free throw. I think he was around 78% this year. I think that stat just showed up as well. But yeah, that's like a fantastic find here out of the post, where they're running some type of action, back screen there by Vasar, and I think that's Malachi Moreno, doesn't really do a good job, which, hey, at the NBA level, this pass might not go through, or maybe you have to throw an alley-oop, or maybe you're going to see, I think that's 0-0, kind of crash down as a help defender, and then you're finding this guy for an open three. So maybe that's a secondary progression he's going to have to make at the NBA level, which I think he's going to be fine at. Honestly, like they're able to run guys going off screens. Nice find there to Vasar, who I think has also complemented Wilson nicely in this UConn front court, where it's not like you're asking Wilson. Like, Vasar has actually been a huge transfer portal get for them, and that's why I kind of like Vasar as a late first rounder going into the year. I think he also has his limitations, and there's some other big men that I think have lapped him, like Hans Steinbeck at Washington, but another great read. I think that's probably the best part, even though we did struggle offensively against Kentucky, like them running this action, and it's just like a quick read right away, able to find the guy getting around the rim. This could come back on Mark Pope's defense, but hey, Caleb Wilson and Hubert Davis were able to kind of find the advantages on the or in the half court for his team. He's able to find the guy for the spot up three. Vasar also is kind of chaotic a little bit around the rim, always kind of going for rebounds. Bad alley-oop pass there from Wilson, but you kind of see what he's trying to do. That's a really good transition pass right there. Like, this is what I love, or I said before, like I like Caleb Wilson in a run and gun style because I think he's really good in transition. I don't like when he gets tunnel vision in transition because sometimes it doesn't like bode well for him, but he is able to make the right reads looking up. When his head is up in transition, I think it's really something that can work. And I don't know what team. I really like Chicago as a fit for him as well. Like, it depends if like Buzelis' shot develops, and it really depends. I mean, like Essengay, they kind of just went with this archetype in a way, and Essengay's season is done. It really just depends on like how the lottery shakes up, right? Like, I still don't think the top 3 has changed at all. I've seen some guys be a little bit not like edgy, and you're putting like Wilson ahead of AJ Dybantsa, which is completely fine if you like Caleb Wilson that much and you see the potential and the upside as like a defender and as somewhat of a creator and a guy that can maybe guard 1 through 5 at the NBA level. Like, really good transition defense right there. I think you can make a case for him at 3. I don't know though. I have him at least at, what is he for me? He's 5. I've gone a little bit like lower on Native Men, and I have Mikal Brown Jr. number 4. So I have Caleb Wilson number 5 on my big board right now. That's still fluid, but you're trying to think like who's going to be picking in that range. Like, do I like him? I was going to say New Orleans, but obviously New Orleans doesn't have their first. Like, Sacramento, I don't mind Keegan Murray kind of kicking back to the 3 next year and Wilson at the 4. Like, Sacramento needs any type of guy that plays with energy and intensity. Sometimes the motor of that team is some of the worst I've seen. So I think getting like that, like, fresh young guy with hunger out there that wants to win in Caleb Wilson, I think is good. I mean, Brooklyn doesn't own their 2027 first round pick directly, so they, I think, need guys that can elevate their floor next year. And I think out of all these rookies, you're going to get a lot of volatility from Wilson offensively in his rookie year, but I know what I'm getting from him usually with his motor defensively. Like that one, I think he's ball watching a little bit. I think that's something you got to keep an eye on, but I think that's going to come with coaching at the NBA level and that player development, where they're going to have a little bit more of an enhanced video team and I think adjustments throughout the game, and he'll get called out for it. Like, unless he's I don't think he's getting drafted anywhere where he is the guy. Like Brooklyn, I guess there isn't like a young franchise guy on that team. Like Charlotte has its guys. Atlanta has its guys. Like they'd be picking up there with New Orleans. Like Sacramento, maybe. But I think at least like one of like Levine or Sabonis will be on the team next year. I think there's a time like there's a situation for Wilson where he is going to be a guy that's going to kind of be like a role player out of the gate and is going to be called out if he has some defensive lapses as well. This is one of his better games this year against Kansas. This was like their 2nd or 3rd game of the season, and this was against Darren Peterson, who just recently came back, but this was his last game before the hamstring injury. And Wilson played really good in this game as well. Like that is a tough and one shot where we've seen that go in this year and we've seen that not go in this year. It's a solid Kansas defense with like Bryson Tiller and Badunga. I like Cole Rosario as a perimeter defender for them this year as well. So I thought this game was probably one of the more impressive games for North Carolina. Yeah, it was their 2nd game. As you can see, they're 1-0 this year, and they've had some good wins already out of the gate. Some games that they haven't won kind of in previous years. I mean, last year they were a massive disappointment, and I didn't really love the way that Hubert Davis kind of handled Ian Jackson and Drake Powell. I think Drake Powell has shown that he should have had a little bit more involvement with UNC last year, and Ian Jackson has kind of had a tough time maybe transitioning to St. John's this year. But yeah, like Caleb Wilson just flying down the paint, nightmare to guard because he's going to give you so much energy that you're going to be locked in for 40 minutes or however long that you got to guard him out there, because he, like this game specifically, like diving for loose balls. I don't know if it's going to come up in this highlight tape at all, but he's diving all over the place for like a top 10 recruit in the country, a potential top pick. He's going to try to throw down everything, as you can see, which can draw contact. He's good at getting to the free throw line. Would like for him to be a little bit better of a free throw shooter, but somebody that is like the guy in UNC, and he's flying around defensively, like getting the crowd hyped up, is what you want to see. Like this is something Charlotte could use. Brooklyn could definitely use for their home crowd next year, for a team that could miss out on a top 3 pick. Like we'll see. Like we have no idea who's picking where, but I think for what he could be as even a small ball 5 one day, depending on the 3-point shot, I don't know if you would love him at the 3. Like that looks smooth and pretty, but like it's not going to go in all the time. So like, look at that picking. I think that's Cole Rosario's pocket. No, it's not. But like running in transition, good on ball defense, and man, it's intriguing. It really is. So like when you're looking at this archetype too, like say he's a power forward or say he's a 4, he's just a wing in general, right? Like I still have Dybantsa, and Boozer kind of plays like a big, so I'm not going to really say that. Like, he's more in line with the DeBances of the world, right? I mean, the wings in the top 10, like, aren't anything crazy because you have, like, Kingston Flemings. I think Nate Amen and Koa Pete. I mean, Koa Pete plays like a big as well. Nate Amen definitely plays more like a wing, but for what I've seen out of Wilson defensively, I like Wilson more. I do think Amen has more offensive upside, even though I think Amen has its limitations. And if you guys want to see me do this with other prospects, we're kind of just doing it in a check-in. Really nice quick read there to Henry Vasar. I think, yeah, we could definitely look at some Nate Amen tape as well, which I think is going to have a lot of good and maybe a lot of bad as well, who struggled against top teams this year. But Wilson makes a great read. Like, honestly, when he gets the foul call there, like, the defender, if that is Badunga, reads it well. Like, he reads the action well, and he is able, I guess it's a good job on the cutter, kind of getting behind Badunga, and it's just a great pass from Caleb Wilson. That might not even be Badunga, but either way, it's a great read there by Caleb Wilson. I'm kind of like far away from my screen, so I can't really see specifically. Good rebound there, like throwing his body into 3 guys out there, and once again, draws some contact. Able to kind of just catch the rebound there, but he's a good rebounder for sure this year. For him here, like, he's kind of able to see the action and kind of gets in there. And, like, once again, playing very fast, overzealous at times, could be a little bit aggressive, draws the foul there. I wonder if that's going to be an issue at the NBA level earlier in his career, drawing a ton of fouls. Like, he could come in, pick up 2 quick fouls, and it's tough for him to really build rhythm out there for sure. And I think he did pick up, or no, it was Peterson that picked up, like, some early fouls in this game as well. Like, there, kind of gets outmatched a little bit, recovers well with that block. And then he's kind of hyping up the crowd. Like, it doesn't show it there, but he's just getting everybody involved there. This is the one, I think, where he dives for the loose ball. I think they're able to get a timeout in, and he starts hyping up the crowd. But you can see, like, the Kansas player is not diving for the loose ball. This is like a guy that's a projected top 10 pick in the draft. Like, right here, he doesn't have, the ball's like really close to the Kansas player, but he's throwing his body on the floor. The home crowd's going to love it. I think whatever team drafts him, as long as his, I don't know, I think as the coach just lets him be Caleb Wilson, they're going to love it as well. And I think we're just going to have to see how he looks. Like, ACC this year isn't the most competitive conference. Once again, I mean, when they play like Louisville, they're not really known for their front court play. It's a lot of their back court. So we'll see how that looks. If he's able to dominate a team like Louisville. The Duke games are obviously going to be an intriguing watch because you have Cam Boozer, you have Patrick Ngungba, you have, like, literally talented front court guys, and a well-balanced team at Duke that's, I think, still undefeated right now, where it's going to be a tough test for Caleb Wilson. I'm not sure if they have any, like, really tough out-of-conference games going forward. Like, they'll still play Neo Abdelas at Virginia Tech. That could be a fun matchup. Like, Notre Dame can play hard at times, but they're not, like, a really super talented roster this year outside of, like, Marcus Burton. And then you have, like, Miami. I mean, like, Pitt's nothing like too special this year. So we'll see what ends up kind of happening with the ACC talent crop. But I do think this Carolina team will make the tournament this year without having to do what they did last year, where they were like the 11-6 playing, and there was the whole like, oh, the AD of UNC is also on the committee to bring these teams in. So there was a little bit of a conflict of interest that people didn't like. I mean, that UNC team last year was not great, and that's why maybe like Hubert Davis and people felt like his job was on the line in the offseason. Like, that's a really good reaction there, but like, this is a great defensive possession by Caleb Wilson. I mean, I don't know when the play ends there, so it ends in a miss, but like, look at Caleb Wilson here, kind of realizing that there's 2 things going on here, and he's able to make the read right away, like looking at, I think, Peterson's eyes, that he could either kick it out to 3 or the cutting big where they kind of go up on the screen. And Wilson does a great job as a help defender right there, using his athleticism and his quickness, which I feel like I haven't really talked about too much in this video. And then they double team him down low there. He sees the guy on the baseline, and he's getting right up into his face as well. Even slips a little bit, reacts fine in the paint. He's able to watch Peterson on the perimeter. Honestly, like, that's the tape that I think scouts are going to love as well. Being able to fly around defensively and having that intensity and that motor out there will play. I mean, that one, I guess, didn't go too well for him, but hey, not everything's going to be great. He's not like an elite rim protector. He's not like a come on now you watch last year at Duke, but he plays with that intensity and plays up as well for somebody that can use that wingspan to his advantage and anticipate passing lanes and able to pick those off. So yeah, like 14-point game right here. I think he gets gassed a little bit, but still is able to like pick the pocket there and get the obviously Carolina crowd hyped up as maybe the dagger of that game for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Those were kind of 3 games to react to about Caleb Wilson so far. I do think he's one of the more intriguing prospects in this draft. I think like him and Nate Ament are going to be very polarizing in the top 10 if they're still kind of in this range by year's end. I feel a little bit more confident about Caleb Wilson than I do about Ament, but I think Ament does have tremendous upside, and we'll get to maybe talking about him more later in the year. So if you guys did enjoy, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments maybe your thoughts on Caleb Wilson this year, maybe something I didn't hit down below. And if you want to see this with other prospects, maybe just talking about Cameron Boozer because he's been unreal this year, let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.